πρέπει να έχει κάπου έξοδος. Λέει ο Τζόκερ στο κλέφτη, υπάρχει πάρα πολύ σύγχυση.
Groucho Marx once commented that he never wanted to be in any group that would have him as a member. That's an idea I can get behind, especially as it applies to the act of writing and the topic of groups. Now, the first group you join, you're born into, your family. God's version of five-card study, you gotta play the cards you're dealt. Although with divorce and remarrying, those cards get shuffled, hopefully leading you to an understanding, or a deeper understanding of who you are and how you relate to those people. And if not, you can always fold. One thing I've always been keenly aware of, though, is how membership in one group oftentimes puts you in another. Growing up, for instance, my family was Greek Orthodox, and we used the church as a cultural hub. And I'll never forget Sunday mornings driving home from church, our windows rolled down, Greek music blaring from the car radio as we'd pull up to an intersection, the air filled with the clamor of my tribe's music. And I'd look over in the adjoining cars and I'd see people craning their necks with this bewildered look on their face, trying to make sense of this cacophony that they were being exposed to. Well, in that moment, I would crouch down in my chair hiding because I felt so acutely different. I couldn't reconcile the look on their faces with my tribe's music. And it all it did was make me want to be like everybody else. Which, ironically enough, just made me want to join more groups. If only because that enabled me to see more kids, figure out which ones I wanted to be like, and then mimic their behavior. So the first group I joined was called the Y Indian Guides, letter Y Indian Guides, although looking back, they should have been entitled the Y Indian Guides, as in, why would a bunch of young white kids dress up like Indians, give themselves faux-sounding Indian names, I was spinach in his teeth, all while reciting how they'd earned their wampum/allowance the week before. It was surreal and way beyond me. But it wasn't surreal enough, so I joined yet another group. This group was a church-based group known as the Sons of Pericles. Now, based on that group's activities, I figured Pericles liked to play basketball, pay lengthy tribute to the god of wine and vomit, and then play some more basketball. Turns out Pericles was a very wise, ancient, elder Greek statesman. But because I wasn't a particularly good athlete and I didn't really care about drinking at the time, I moved on. I was just grateful there were no togas involved. I kept joining groups, never finding a place that felt good. And it wasn't until I realized that I had unwittingly joined a group while in the 4th grade, when I had written my first play entitled The Three Stooges in Valentine's Land. So much for my early influences. I followed that effort up by writing a short story about growing up in the frontier West as a young girl. Inadvertently, I had joined a group, all right, and the group I had joined was the group known as writers. Now, it's taken me 48 years to acknowledge my place within their ranks, because when I started writing the columns that became the basis for these YouTube pieces, for instance, I didn't think of myself as a writer. I considered myself an actor who occasionally wrote. But the column I was writing, Greek to Me, got into one paper and then another paper and another, and it took on a focus of its own. But what really brought it to bear was when I attended a convention of newspaper columnists in New Orleans. I don't know, there's something about the act of eating and drinking to excess with a group of people that really binds you to them. And as a result of my interaction with those people, some really fine writers, I wanted to get my writing to the next level, whatever that meant. Well, how that manifested was I ended up voicing and writing pieces that ended up playing on National Public Radio's Day-to-Day show. And I'll never forget, I heard my first piece while in bumper-to-bumper traffic. The piece aired and the announcer came on and he said, Michael Races is a writer and actor living in Los Angeles. And I was struck by the simple truth of it. In fact, I am a writer. But being a writer, mind you, is like being a member of a group that is dedicated to anarchy, because there's a glaring sense of implied contradiction about that act. It has to do with this strange place where writing and being in a group intersect, because though both things can give birth to ideas, they actually have a lot more to do with time, because when the moment of truth arrives, you are by yourself. I mean, as a writer, a group is only a touchstone for you to hold for an instant, to strengthen you for that inevitable moment when you've got to go off and write and be by yourself. And as a human being, the group is there to give your life context, to give you a greater understanding of who you are as you relate to those people in that group. On a deeply personal note, writing has taken me from being a kid who wanted to be just like everybody else to becoming a man who who wants to voice his individuality by expressing the universal in us all, reconnecting with the human race in the process. Which is Greek to me. I'll bet Pericles would understand.
Πρέπει να έχει κάπου έξοδος, λέει ο Τζόκερ στο κλέφτη. Υπάρχει πάρα πολλή σύγχυση